We should be rolling. We'll give it a couple more minutes and see if we can get some more people to join. See. Ricky Bobby, welcome. And Max Payne is here. Welcome. And our friend Chris P. How you doing, buddy? Jay's in the house.
I just gotta ask, was Lord driving a BMW earlier?
Yes, he was.
When I saw that picture, I'm thinking, hang on, is this the same guy as the crazy guy that we see? And then you see him in that car. I'm thinking, bloody hell. Doing something right.
Can't figure that guy out.
He's a character and a half, but he's an awesome character.
Yeah.
Max is typing. A lot of guys are really, really shy to speak for some reason. That's all right. John 34 has joined us. Or Job 34. I always get that wrong. Sorry, man. These nuts. Right, so I think I was really hoping for a lot more people joining us this evening. Hey, Brian, welcome.
How you doing, guys?
Very good, man. Mike's in the house, just on time, as always.
He is.
Hey, I'm driving right now, but I'm here.
Glad to have you here. Right, so we'll give it 2 more minutes and then we'll kick this off. How you all been?
They're very quiet tonight.
I think everyone's nervous in anticipation. Let's just see what these idiots have to say so that we can see if or not. That's probably the problem.
I mean, I'm tired of listening to myself too.
But you've got such a great voice, you know, you can't get tired of that voice.
Yeah, he can't.
There we go.
And there's them.
Thank you.
Right. So let's start this off, guys. Like we said, we've got 15 in the room. Hopefully more will join while we're going. Again, a lot of people can't join due to work commitments. We understand. Hopefully, touch wood, we will be able to clear a lot of things up for you guys, including what's happened with the charts in the last hour. I can explain in detail.
Yeah.
What the plans are going to be tonight and over the next couple of days and what we are working towards. So we can't go into very, very specifics, but I think if you read between the lines, there is certain criteria that has to be met. We need 2,500 holders and we need several transactions. So we're working on that in the background right now, just to get us towards that position, which we expect should happen this week at some point, which is great news without going into details. And that's all you get into. So if you don't know what we're talking about, that's fine. But I think if you know this game, then you know exactly what we're talking about. So that's happening right now. Now, what we've done this evening is we have started doing airdrops first and foremost to our fearless holders. So you guys would have received an extra bunch of tokens. It's not as much as what we wanted to send initially, and we may do a second drop in the future. Right now, the criteria was just get those out the way before we start handing out random tokens to random people. So we wanted to make sure we look after you guys first. again, there will be a little bit more coming your way, so hold that thought. We'll do probably something when the airdrop wallet clears a bit more, which is probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. It releases about 1 billion a week, so we want to send you guys a nice, decent chunk. So expect a little bit more when the timing's right. So that's what you saw on the charts. Every time that there is a buy transaction, obviously it does great for the liquidity. Every time there's a sell transaction or there's a transfer, the contract will trigger all the accumulated tokens that it's collected, right? Now, it's not us collecting these tokens. As I've said before, I want you guys to think of this as a invisible investor, right? He's buying tokens all the time. And once he's got enough in the bucket, he kind of empties the bucket out. And when the bucket gets emptied, that's when the lottery accumulates, which is good for you. So we should have added a little bit more to the weekly as well as the daily for today, which is great news. Someone's going to be coming away smiling. I've not looked at the amounts. To be honest, that's low on my priority right now. But yeah, the reason why we wanted to call this AMA specifically today was to give you guys big contract updates. We have listened to a lot of the feedback, not only in our community, but also from the external AMAs that we've been doing. And the number one pitfall that we're hearing is that, okay, hang on, guys, you want us to buy 20% tax, and then your sell is 20%. And then if I sell within 48 hours, you're going to charge me another 10. So it's 50% total tax. So we think that might be one of the reasons why this has been, I wouldn't call it a false start because we know about the issues that we've had, which are now resolved, but that might be putting a lot of people off. So this doesn't seem like a big change, but in reality, it actually is. What we are going to do is, we put it out to a poll, but I think this is a decision that us three have made. So it's not really about giving you guys the option to vote on it. We are making this change because it's in the community's best interest. So from tonight, when I get a chance to do the change, we are going to be dropping the tax from 20% down to 15%. So that's great news. The buy-in will be reduced by 5%. And that also means that if you hold for a long period of time, your sell is also only going to be 15%. So effectively, you're going from literally 50% tax down to 30% tax. That's the first big change. Now, it's important to note that we are not making changes to how much the lottery is going to be receiving or any of the others. What we are temporarily doing is we are reducing the amount of the auto liquefy is going to be getting considerably so that we can accommodate this change going forward. The auto liquefy is great. It adds liquidity all the time. But essentially, when you guys are buying, it's also adding to liquidity. We've also got our buyback wallet, don't forget, and we've proven that this week when we've been airdropping tokens to people from winners. We've sent a couple of people, Quincy's one of them, for example. We sent Quincy has been our top shiller. We sent him a considerable amount of tokens, and we sent a few others as well. Crispy, you one of them that received some today, and that was a recommendation that came from G. So congratulations on that. And as we've said as well to you guys, we are also going to be doing incremental small drops. So when we see somebody that's really pushing hard, and there are a few I'm seeing in this room that are constant, I'll mention some names now. Coin Hunter, you're one of them. I'm always seeing you being sometimes positive, sometimes not too positive, but you're generally there being supportive. So I thank you for that. Brian, you're again one of them. Yes, you're one of our moderators, but at the end of the day, you're still an investor. So again, I thank you for that and expect something coming your way as well. Smiter, you're always there. You've been there from Fearless Days, and we appreciate that. So Dave Kirby, again, I've seen you several times in our rooms. You join us regularly on the AMAs. So these are just examples of guys that we see, the names we're recognizing. We are going to make sure that you guys are enumerated in some way, shape, or form. So watch out. We will be contacting you and reaching out to you guys directly. So yeah, just to recap, the first thing is the lowering of taxes, going down from 20% down to 15, and it's not going to touch the lottery. So the lottery will still be getting the same amount that it was before. One thing that's very, very, very important to us is the early selling. What we've noticed is people are kind of waiting for this 48-hour period after buying and then just flogging it off. Guys, the idea of this lottery is not really to win the daily. Daily is great. And when we reactivate the hourly, once we've got the volume, which we are expecting, it's going to be great as well to win a couple of $100 in the hourly with the volume that will be there. Daily will be significantly higher. And obviously the weekly is going to be really juicy once the volume comes. So because this is a 7-day lottery feature, we are going to increase the early selling tax from 48 hours to 7 days. And this is in your favor. Now, that might think like, oh, shit, but hang on. I've now got to wait 7 days. Because we've lowered the tax, remember, 15% buy-in, which means a 15% sell-in, which also means that the tax, even if you do sell early, will now only be 25%, even if you sold earlier. It's in everyone's favor that we have this in. The guys that are in this group listening are loyal anyway. You guys have been with us when you could have exited a long time ago. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for sticking this through. Things take time. Things really do take time to get right. Right now, behind the scenes, we are working on several different things to fast-track us to several different strategical positions. You'll see a lot of transfers going out of the wallets, and that's because we are strategically dropping tokens to increase the holder count, which is essential for us as a project to succeed. So there's a lot of things happening in the background. So just to confirm, when you buy, the tax will be 15%. When you sell, provided it's longer than 7 days that you've been holding, your tax will be 15%. If you sell within 7-day period, the tax will be 25%. It's as simple like that. It's a win-win for everybody, in my opinion, because if you sold within 48 hours, you're going to be taxed 50% in total, and that was a bit ridiculous. And that was one of the biggest feedback, positive criticism we've received in other external AMAs, which means we've addressed that now. We've brought it down to half what this guy was saying, and we hope that that's going to bring in the new investors that we so desperately need. Secondly, another big change that's coming in. Sorry, the third big change. So the first one was the buying and selling tax. Second one was increasing the early selling tax duration. And the third big change that we're going to do is when we say buy a minimum of 1 million tokens to get your next entry, that's clear. But guys, we also said that when the price rises, we're going to have to think about bringing that million down to maybe 500,000 to make it fair so that it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. We now have to look at the opposite scale of the spectrum. Because the price has dropped significantly, a lot of paper hands have exited. We now need to consider upping the number of LAMBOTTERY tokens you need per entry. So this is going to sound crazy, but it's in your benefit once again. The new entry for the minimum number of tokens required for one entry will be 25 million tokens. Now, like I just said, if we were at 1 million and the price of the token went sky high, we can't expect everyone to still buy 1 million in order to get one entry. We would have had to reduce it. Just to reconfirm, the opposite has happened. So we're going to make it a little bit more fairer. And rather than us seeing these 0.19 buys to get one entry, you're going to see under $5 buys in order to qualify. We think that's fair. We think it will strengthen the liquidity. It will strengthen the lottery because now we're saying, guys, it's a $5 purchase to get at least one entry. Most of you guys have purchased way more than that anyway. So I'm talking about the small fish now, that want to at least have their fair share of trying. So those are the three main updates. Just to recap again, number one, decrease of tax. Number two, increase of the early selling from 48 to 7 days. And number three, the point that we needed, and this was actually a recommendation made by Sherman, who's listening right now. We've taken your feedback on board and we are doing it. And I think it's a great move because we need the volume to come in and we need it to show. That's it. Let me see what else was on the agenda. So yeah, as we've mentioned, the Fearless airdrop has been done tonight. We will be obviously expanding that and be doing a little bit more. And just before this AMA ends tonight, we are also going to be doing another 250 million token giveaway to one of the people that have obviously been holding once more. I'd like to actually hand this over now to the community to ask us questions, because if you're new here and you're not sure or on how this works, then please do ask the questions, because now is your chance. If you guys think we're making bad moves, please do tell us. We are trying to do this in your best interest in mind so that we can actually move this forward. There are a lot of things happening this week. We expect them, hopefully, by the end of the week to all be in effect. You'll see our holder count start incrementally increasing quite quickly. And that's a strategic move that we are doing. That will allow us for several key points. And when we get there, we can expect great new volume coming in and the exposure getting out. We'll be honest, because of all these changes that we've made and the interactions we've had with devs and the changes to the contract where we need to pay for consultation, our marketing capability, where it used to be, has actually been depleted slightly, which isn't really a bad thing. We still have enough right now and enough of our own personal reserves to push this in if we need to. And we are in still ongoing talks with private investors. We had a call, quite a good call on Sunday evening with one of those individuals. We've got a follow-up call with him on Wednesday. And the initial feedback we've received was we asked for too little money, which was crazy because, we thought we went in with a significant value and significant return. And he was a bit skeptical, but it's because this guy's never dealt with crypto. He doesn't understand that the crypto business is not a normal business. We don't follow normal rules. There is no playbook in this type of game. It's based on advertising and volume and interest. The interest is there. You guys that are here love what you guys have seen. You guys have always complimenting us that this is a solid gem. The only thing we need now is exposure, which is what we're working hard towards. So even though our marketing budget isn't as great, we still believe very firmly that we are going to be in a position quite soon to secure a deal, and that will help us go to the next level of things that needs to happen, including several enhanced and escalated roadmap items. I mean, we were asked in the previous AMA with the Futures Lounge, what does the roadmap actually look like from a licensing perspective? And absolutely, we need to acquire the gambling license and a lottery license to operate in a real lottery capacity. Right now, we're fine and we're covered because it's all done via the blockchain. But when we start talking about giving you the ability to buy a lottery ticket and pick numbers, and then should you win, you get X depending on how much is in the pots, that requires licensing. And then for the future roadmap items, for example, the online gambling and the casino that's coming, we need a gambling license for that. So these things aren't cheap. That's why we are getting the investors and the backing partners to help us, and also consultation partners to steer us in the right direction so we don't make incorrect moves. The last thing we want to do is put any of you guys in jeopardy, and we stick by our guns and we say that when we do things, we do them right and we do them correctly. So I'm sorry, Rome is not built in a day. We'd love to say to you guys tomorrow, expect 15x, 20x. It's not going to happen. It might happen towards the end of the week. Who knows? We're working hard towards that, but let's see. I don't want to overpromise you guys. From my side, and I think G and Sven would agree, at minimum, I would hope that with the plans that we are doing right now, we should see, I'm hoping anyway, at very minimum, to see at least a 2 to 3x from our starting price. I'm not talking about the dip now. I'm talking about the starting price when we launch. That would be a fair assessment. Anything more than that would be a real nice bonus. But I'd expect between 2 and 3. What we would like to ask you guys is for a little bit of help now. It's a cheeky request. It's a real cheeky request, but we would like to see if the community can pitch in and help. We need to acquire new holders. Now, what that means is that if you were planning on tonight, for example, after the daily lottery, putting any more money into LAMBOTTERY, at least to qualify for the next daily draw, we would ask you very politely, if you have a second wallet, you use second wallets. I know it sounds crazy, but we do need to get this holder count up and quickly. You'll see Sven right now is working on it. You'll see loads of transfers going out the contract. Yeah, it's clear. But obviously, I'm not that good of a multitasker. If I could talk to you guys.
Well, I'm listening. I'm not talking, so I'm trying to work.
And I can't expect Mr. G there to do anything right now because he's driving like a mad bat out of hell to get home and jump on this as well. So, yeah, guys, honestly, if you guys are planning on doing any little bits,
as soon as I get there, I'll start working on it.
No worries. What I'm asking everybody in the community to do is small buys. I'm not asking you guys to throw in BNB after BNB. I'm asking for small buys. And if you've got 2 wallets or 3 wallets, do 0.0001. I don't care. Help us out a little bit here. Let's get the count of our up because that's what matters right now, and that's what we desperately need. If we can't hit that threshold of about 1,500, I believe we've made some good moves today. We're going to not be in trouble, but it's going to slightly delay things until we get to that point. So you will see the holder increase. We never know, these strategic moves that we're doing now might bring 10% new investors from what they've seen. Other people frown upon it because they are, you see this random token drop in your wallet and think, what the hell is this? Is this a sniping attack? But if they went in and they looked up on us, and if you do a search on Google, Lambottery comes up #1 on Google. We've done a great job there. If they wanted to go and check out YouTube, the AMA is going to be there as well. We are a genuine community. We are doing the right thing for our community. It's taking longer than what we had hoped. It is what it is, I'm afraid. And a lot of people are impatient, and I am sorry, but I can tell you, when the time comes, you will know. You will see it on the charts. You'll see the volume come in. You'll see our Telegram get crazy. So, and we're excited for that. I've said enough now. I'm going to hand over to the community right now for questions. So is there anybody in that room that would like to ask anything? Please, and I'll speak at once.
All right, I've got a question. The 20 or the 25 million tokens of that, will that change the contract of what we're already holding?
No.
So that on the weekly draws.
Yeah, no, our understanding is it's all future purchases going forward. We've not tested this yet, I'll be honest with you, but I don't think the contract's got any, from what I've seen, the contract hasn't got any refactoring built in. So it would only change if we decided to, for example, at the end of the week, which we won't, because we said we wouldn't, if we reset the entries. But what it means is any purchases going forward, you would need 25 million tokens going forward in order to get the one entry. And let's just look right now very quickly. I mean, 25 million tokens costs 0.018 BNB. It's nothing. It's a couple of bucks, really. It's less than a cup of coffee. So it really is. I mean, we could have done it 50 million. We could have done it, said 100 million, but we didn't want to go to that height. We just wanted to just bring it a little bit up to speed. So rather than you seeing 1 million exactly 1 million tokens being purchased, you would see hopefully 25 million. So rather than 19 cents, you should see $5 or so, or $4 or $3, whatever it is, purchases. But to answer your, Brian, I honestly don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to reset your balance. You take your total balance now and divide that by 25 million. That's not the case, I don't think. From what I understand and from what the devs have said to me, is that when we make changes to that, it will be on future purchases. It will only impact future purchases.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Let's see if there's any questions from the group in the chat. Polls we make. Let's go down. Lowering taxes. So people generally seem happy about the lowering of taxes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I delayed or am I real time?
It sounds like you are a professional puppeteer.
Delay.
Okay. Anyways, who cares if I'm delayed? I think most people can read between the lines on what's happening and what we're doing. If I could just say one thing, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, and in crypto, the first rule of blank is you don't talk about blank. So if I see it talked about, it's going to get deleted immediately from the chat.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the process. So I just want to say that because I've had to explain that a couple times to people when I've deleted their messages asking about certain things. So let's try to keep the chat clean of those sorts of things, and then it'll make it better.
Yeah. So it's all clear. We know exactly what G's talking about. If there are mention of any of those things, it's not that we're ignoring you, but the messages will just get deleted. The moderators have their own group. We will obviously bring you guys up to speed of exactly what we mean. There are a few mods that already know about this. So, well, it's only just Wits and Steve that know about this. But yeah, we will bring you guys up to speed very quickly and let you guys know why this is important, that nobody can obviously just speak about it. Tom's asked a question, has a new tax been decided? Yes, absolutely. Buying is at 15% and selling is at 15%. provided you are holding longer than 7 days. It's the early selling tax has been adjusted from 48 hours to 7 days. And again, just to recap, the reason for that is because this is a 7-day lottery, right? We expect people to try and hold at least to win the jackpot. It's a fair game. It's a fair share to at the end of the 7-day period. If you want to then exit and then come back in, feel free to. But we think that once the volume comes in, that we should see good growth. And you probably would just want to add a little bit more, because what we've done with a weekly, we're not going to reset it. So provided you buy in the minimum amount of tokens, you're going to retain the pot that you had. And it will just keep increasing until you sell one token, and then your total will reset. And we won't mention names tonight, but this is interesting. It actually blew Sven, myself, and obviously Gio away. We find out that one of our moderators is actually a police officer. I'm not going to go who, but we were like really, really shocked.
I really didn't know that.
No, we didn't. I know he's listening. So, yeah, that was an interesting revelation this evening.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we've actually got police watching all the time. So you best, I know Lambo Lord, what Lord Lambottery is not in here, but he best watch out going forward. Yeah. So the beauty of being completely anonymous in this space. Right, I think what I'll do is I'm going to go in and share my screen, and I'm going to do the 250 ml draw. If there's any questions in the meantime, please feel free to shout. I need to log into the wallet first, so please bear with me while I do that. G, do you want to say anything else while I do that?
I think you covered most of everything. I mean, I want to thank everyone here. The fact that you're here means a lot to us. I know this has not been the easiest road, and there's a lot of questions. I know it's frustrating to watch from the outside when you're not in the chat with us, seeing what's happening and what we're doing. And I know there's a lot of doubt and a lot of FUD, especially last night. But I felt like I kind of put that guy in his place, and he deserved it. But I know it's frustrating when you can't be a part of the inside conversations to see what's happening, and it feels like we're not doing anything, and you're not seeing certain results that you want to see. And I understand that that's so frustrating, and I would feel the same way if I was in your position. But I just want you to know that we really are putting everything we have into this. I mean, it's like I go to work, and this is the only thing I do outside of that. I'm not dicking around with y'all's money. I'm not trying to lose anyone's money here. We're trying to do what's right for y'all. But I just thank you all for your patience, and I understand when you get frustrated where you're coming from. But yeah, I don't really have anything to add as far as updates go. We covered all of that, but hopefully by the end of this week, we will all be in a very different position than we're in right now.
Let me just go back in here. Give me a second. There you guys can all hear. Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, just to cover up what G said there as well. I mean, we have seen a lot of people that have bought in quite significantly exit. I must just say and be plain and outright, these guys probably bought in at pre-sale when BNB was all right, not all right, but that was half decent. We've seen BNB crash. We've seen Lambottery price crash as well. In fact, not only us, everywhere you looked, pretty much every crypto token I looked at was crashing. Even when you go to CoinMarketCap and you look at recently added, you normally see 1 or 2 gems in there that have got, like, in the last 24 hours, 10 million plus worth of volume. Majority of them less than 1 million, like I'm talking 100,000 to 20,000 a year there. And that worried us a little bit. If that's where the direction's going, everyone is obviously wary about investing. But what made no sense to me is why people would sell. I understand that obviously, each to their own. If you want to exit, you want to exit. But when you're in exiting, when BNB is pretty much almost half the price of what it was, and in addition to that, the token that you're trying to sell is also down, you're being double whammy hits. So again, if we were going to do, a dirty one on you guys and try and kill this project, It could have been done ages ago, but we have no intention of doing that once again. And I keep saying the same thing over and over and over, but we're going to be here no matter what it takes. And we are working very, very hard to secure what we need to secure. So let me go to the DAP.
Guys, I can
We're gonna
tell
run
you,
ourselves
if
into
we
the
wanted
ground.
to do that, I was not doing what I am doing now, because
It's a pain in the ass.
it is. Oh,
So I've just had a look at the DAP. Let me go and share my screen. Where is it? Share screen. So yeah, can you guys see my screen?
yep.
Okay, great. So right now we've got a daily at 143.55, which isn't bad. And then we've got a weekly at $2,725. Again, a nice little chunk there. So I'm connected with the deployer, and I'm going to be able to see, obviously, the additional features as well. Again, to explain how this works, if we want to sanity check this, we can go and select participants, and we can see from the list, the array here, who has all qualified in the weekly. This brings up all the entries in the weekly, and at the bottom, how many entries they've got. Now, you'll see all these down here, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is because we are sending 1 million tokens to some of these addresses that are appearing. And that's what Sven's working on right now. Anyway, we did promise you guys a 250 million giveaway tonight, and we'll do that now. So let me just make a quick statement. If this is a wallet that we've just airdropped 1 million tokens to, I'm not sending it to them. I do apologize. But let me just go check that one. So I'll just go check BSC. So this would be the winning. And it looks like they are, yeah, they've got way more. So whoever this wallet belongs to, I will be sending 250 million to your wallets. Let me just go and post it in the room in Telegram. Okay, yeah, I'll come on to that. Oh, spelling. Okay, so a question. Can you please explain what happened early in the project with the trap tokens in the resulting price decline? Why couldn't it be resolved without impacting the price? Okay, so we did try and resolve it without impacting the price. And if you guys can remember, I took a day out. I went to the beach with the family, and I posted a picture going to the moon, and everyone was happy. What had happened is the tokens after launch were completely stuck in the contract. So I was advised to just transfer out the contract and transfer it back, which is exactly what I did. And as a result, people could buy, nobody could sell, and turn into a honeypot. And that created a huge lot of FUD. Obviously, it was stressful because my phone was dead at the same time, and that didn't help. I had both Sven and G dealing with it all. So when I got back, I had to transfer the tokens back into the contract. That fixed the issue itself. But then what G had to do that evening is he had to incrementally release the tokens chunks at a time. It was the only way we could have cleared the backlog. Again, the problem was when we deployed the contract with the settings that we were given by the developer, they were settings from a test environment contract, which work, but not for live environments. We still believe thoroughly that if I didn't put my hands up and say, guys, there is a problem, and I could have kept my mouth shut, but I didn't. I still believe that if we didn't do that, we would have been in a much different position right now, because a lot of people exited as a result of that. It caused a lot of uncertainty, and it cost us a lot. You know, not just from a holder perspective, but financially, it cost the project quite a lot, because we were hoping for a very strong start that would have snowballed into pushing back into marketing, but unfortunately we couldn't do that. So yeah, as a result of that happening, if I could go back and relaunch this and have a positive start with the settings that we have right now, absolutely I would. I wouldn't even think twice about it. People have said, why don't you do it? Is it a consideration? Of course. We could relaunch this on version 2 and we could have a great start. We could basically take everybody, we could do a snapshot of where we are right now. We could then trap the liquidity, move the liquidity over from V1 to V2 with a permission, because there'd be a process involved like that. And then we could relaunch this and have a really successful start and a chart that looks beautiful from the offset. But that's a step too far right now with what we have planned. If over the next couple of days things don't pan out, that is an option that we will present to the community. An alternative option is having a bridge to the Ethereum network and potentially rolling out there. The problem right now with Binance is that it's got a bad reputation. In fact, a really bad reputation. And I think there's a lot of nervous investors on this blockchain. So there are a lot of other plan B and plan C and plan D that are available to us. You know, we've done a lot of consultations with some blockchain experts and very close friends of ours that have been really the saving grace of this project. So there are several options on the cards for us. But right now, we don't want to jump the gun. We want to trust the process. What we're doing now all pays off to the community's interests at mind, so we can move forward to this. That's not saying we're not going to do the Ethereum blockchain in the near future. I'm not saying that at all. It makes sense we do that, because then we can give the investors the choice. We run on the Binance Smart Chain, or we're running on an ETH network. You know, that's true value. And it gives the investor confidence that they can have a selection of choice. The downside is that there's two separate lotteries. There's a lottery if you're on one network, and there's a lottery on the other network. It doesn't stop you from entering both if you wanted to do that, but those are options. So there is a plan B and a plan C on the table, but right now it's like a last resort. We want to try and get this to where it needs to be done first, and we're hoping that by the end of this week it will be that. And if it's not by the end of the week, I don't want to put a timeline on it, but that's the kind of timeline we've been given. It might be a couple of days longer. It just depends how quickly we can get these baseline requirements over the line. But once they're over the line, it should start to boom, and that's what we're excited about. Do we have any more questions? Mike, you're too silent. I know you're driving, buddy, but what's on your mind?
We're in Lambo!
I hope soon. Telling you, I hope soon.
I got all the faith in the world in you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been around, but, you know, driving 16 and a half hours from Florida and then trying to get a break, and then, you know, having to take my dog to the vet and drop him off, and now leave for a 4.5-hour drive to Missouri. I'm just, you know, and trying to get up to speed on 3 new projects that I just got, because some asshole that was managing our other projects decided to get arrested for beating a child, basically. And now everything's been thrown onto my lap. So, yeah, it's been nothing but conference calls and trying to get up to speed on all my projects. So I apologize I haven't been around as much, but as you can imagine, my life's pretty hectic right now.
Yeah, we understand. Life takes over. That's totally understandable. I'm going to ask a different question now. Is there anybody in the room that feel that the decisions we've made this evening or advised you guys about is the wrong one? Anybody either say something or type something, and then we can address it.
The only thing that I would like to say is I would have thought that you guys would have kept it at 30% for 7 days. I would have liked to seen that, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's give 25% a chance, and you know, hopefully people will hold for 7 days at least.
I think regardless whether you're holding or not for 7 days, you need to remember that it's still cheaper than paying 50%. So yeah, either way, it's a win-win. And those that do want to exit within the 7 days to what it was, you know, since we launched, it's very clear that previously you buy in at 20%, and then let's say after today, if you wanted to sell, it's going to cost you 30%, so it's 50% total tax. Now, if you want to do that, it's only going to cost you 25%. So, in my opinion, it's a win either way. Yeah, it's longer, but it's still cheaper. We could adjust it. If you guys aren't happy about it, I could say, okay, we'll keep it at 40% tax or 50% tax if you sell within 48 hours, but it just doesn't make sense to us. So I think overall, it's a win-win for everybody. The lottery, it's bad for me to say this, liking when I see a whale sell. That I shouldn't be saying that, but the reason why I sometimes like seeing that is because it strengthens the lottery. So those that are holding potentially have a bigger jackpot because of that transaction. That's the idea there. And ultimately, as I've said, it's still the same amount going into the lottery. We're not adjusting the percentages. We're just reducing it by 5%. That's all. Yeah, exactly the same amount going. Still 5% going into the lottery. And that was the question from Tom. Brian's typing. I'm not sure if he's beating his keyboard because he's upset or he's typing a really long question.
No questions. You're going to enjoy it. Just be patient.
Okay. Dirk Diggler, how are you doing? Have you got any questions? I guess not. Profitful, I've not seen you before. Welcome. If you're new, I think you are because I've not seen your name. Have you got any questions for us, or would you like anything to be clarified? No. Okay. So we will stop recording now.